we go. Okay, so this is day one of office hours for the MCIA, which is the MuleSoft Certified Integration Architect certification. But we're going to also be talking about certain objectives along the way. And the focus for today is on really where are we going to deploy our apps to? What are the deployment options? And then we're going to drill down into the servers, our customer hosted servers, and setting up a Mule domain. So here is our quick agenda. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. And essentially, when we look at the Mule runtime is going to exist somewhere, depending on where we deploy to. It might be that we deploy it in the cloud, or it might be deployed on a server or in a runtime container. So whatever the case may be, the structure is going to have the components of some environment where it's running, whether it's a Java virtual machine or whether it's on a server somewhere. Ours are going to be ultimately on a server. You'll see that happening. And then the Mule runtime is installed. Okay, so again, when we're working on that server, that's going to be installed, and then we'll deploy our applications to it. Okay, so we'll have that portion of it go in as well. Now, remember, this is kind of a reminder. We've got the control plane, which is anypoint.mulesoft.com, and then we've got the runtime plane. And the runtime plane is where our Mule runtime is running, any of those Mule services, like the object store, transaction manager, etc. There are several things there. The virtual private cloud. On our servers, we would be responsible maybe for managing a lot of those services there. So high level, looking at this, and by the way, I'll get you a copy of these slides. You're welcome to have them. This is the options, the deployment options. We've got Cloud Hub 1 or 2. And I know in our class, we pretty much focused on Cloud Hub 2 because 1 is kind of going out of, it hasn't been set for the end of life yet, but it'll happen sometime soon. Hybrid is our other option, and that's what we're going to talk about more in detail today, where MuleSoft is hosting that control plane, the anypoint.mulesoft.com, and the customer, or us in this case, is going to be hosting those servers. Then we also have Runtime Fabric. Runtime Fabric is, again, going to be an option for using the anypoint.mulesoft.com control plane, but at the same time, they'll have their customer hosted portion of setting up their Kubernetes and having their deployments happen there. And then Private Cloud Edition is that other option where they are completely containerizing everything themselves. And I shared this Lucid chart with you all. And we saw the entire deployment. Let me grab it here. Remember this picture? You also have this here in the Lucid chart. And for those of you that didn't get this, let me grab the share on this real quick. Okay. And you don't have to have a Lucid account to view this, but it is a free account if you want to get one. And so we talked a lot about this in class. Our focus is going to be in this area right here. But again, to review those different deployment models, we've got Cloud Hub, all of them centered around the anypoint.mulesoft.com. So from here, we can deploy to Cloud Hub 1 or 2. We can also set up our customer hosted servers that we're going to do today. Runtime Fabric, likewise. We won't do that today, but you can use those as well. That Private Cloud Edition is the one I keep telling you is on a private island somewhere in the Caribbean, and they have no outside access. They want to set everything up in their own network. And again, this is used a lot if you're reading a scenario and you see anything about the metadata doesn't need to traverse over the internet. Everything needs to be contained in their own network. Nothing leaves their network or their trade secrets or, whatever the case may be. That's going to be Private Cloud Edition. Okay, and again, it's a customer hosted server environment. And then in containers, these APIs are deployed in a container for the runtime manager and API manager to run in that environment. Okay, so that is, you've got access to this. I've also created some additional things here too for the hybrid servers. So we're going to talk a little more about this and the Mule domain. So I added additional pages to that Lucid share there. Okay. So when it comes to customer hosted specifically, we download that standalone server. So that's where we're going to start today. We'll download the server like we did in class. And then we added the server to Runtime Manager. So you should still have your trial accounts, and your virtual machines that you had in class are no longer. So it's up to you if you want to download the server on your own desktop or set up your own virtual machine, however you want to do that. I've spun up a new virtual machine, so I'm going to be using that. Then we'll go through the process of the command line that will install the Mule agent. That's going to be what communicates with the control plane here. And then I put the commands here to run and stop your server. And then we can go ahead and deploy our Mule applications. Then the next step that we're going to do today is to create that Mule domain. So there's a process here, and then we'll create our applications that also go into our server. And then we'll share those global elements. Okay. Yes, Damien?
Yeah, so just for my edification, when so currently we're just doing it on our locals, we can do it on our VMs, but in theory, we can also spin up an EC2 instance in AWS and drop the what is that? Mule project, what you call it. I don't know, I'm blanking right now.
Yeah,
So
the server, the standalone server. So
right,
you
right.
do an
So
EC2 instance. Yeah, you would download the standalone server in that EC2 instance,
mm,
right?
yeah, basically the same setup, and then we would just go to our runtime manager. So it's the same setup essentially.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just
Yes.
wanted to confirm that. It's kind of weird in a way because with Cloud Hub, it's on the EC2 instance in Cloud Hub 1. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a, like, it throws me off a little bit. But okay, yeah. All right. Just want to be clear on that. Thanks.
Yeah. In other words, that's where it actually is, right? It's in
Yeah.
in Cloud Hub, it is in an EC2 instance. And so, yeah, you can set it up that way. It would depend how you want to do your routing. That would drive that decision, Damien, because if how you want to handle your load balancer and those type of things, because these are now your own servers. You would, let me bring this one over as we are looking at the option for how you would manage this is your customer hosted network. This could either be a cloud provider like AWS, or it would be like a physical data center somewhere. Okay. In our case, we're using, you could use your own computer. I've spun them up on my own computer before. I've actually spun up a virtual machine. So if you did spin up a virtual machine, you could use that, or you can do this on your own laptop. It can handle that. So let's get this part started. And we're going to go ahead and let me give you the link because we are using, one second. There we go. All right. So to download the server, if you haven't done this on your own system yet, and I have not added that here as of yet, we will go to the URL coming in the chat. And for those of you, if you're watching this video after the fact, where this video gets posted, I will put these URLs in the comment of the video. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay, so basically you're doing a MuleSoft standalone and then running the server like how we did and connecting it to your control plane, right?
That is correct. That is
Okay.
correct. Just
I
like we
just
did in
got
class. Mm-hmm.
okay, just got
Yep.
thrown off by the ESB enterprise URL. So okay.
Oh, I know. It does throw you a little bit, doesn't it? It's the same thing. So if we come to this URL here, it actually, changed the URL. It forwarded that URL. This is the actual URL that it brought it to. That's interesting. So, but anyway, yeah, once you're on this page, then we're going to select our product. Okay. And we'll come down to the Mule Standalone. That's the one we want, Mule Standalone. And then we'll choose our version and we'll go to the latest. Now, if you were supporting an environment that used a specific version of the runtime, this is where you would divert and choose the actual runtime you want. We're going with the latest. Go ahead and click on latest and we'll select the operating system. Now I spun up a Windows virtual machine. So it's up to you, whatever you're using. If you're using your personal Mac or Linux, you want to choose that correct operating system. And then put your information in here. And remember when I was telling you, when it comes to the phone number, you can put a fake phone number in if you want. There we go. All right. All the way down. And then we've got US. Okay. And once you do this, then it's going to email you the download link. And whoever it was that said this in class, couldn't you just go to your email and get the link? And I did that when I downloaded the Studio. So you don't have to necessarily go to your email inside your virtual machine if you had one, but go to your email and get your download link. Okay. And it is saying my download link is below. Let's see. So you should get an email, something like this. Let me open this up. There it is. So I want this to download inside my VM. So I'm going to just copy this link and paste that link up here. And now it's ready to download the server. Okay, so go ahead and download that zip file. So this is the server. This is the standalone server. You should be able to see that downloading up here. And just like we did before, once this is done, we want to put them in a certain place, easy to find at the root of C. So let's go to our Windows Explorer, or if you're on a Mac, wherever you want to put that in your home directory. Let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm going to go to the root of C. Okay, and create a new folder here that's called servers. All right, so just organize it however you want. I've got, where the servers are going to be located, because this is actually where they're going to be running. They're going to be running from that location. It's kind of interesting how that plays out. So let's go get our download. And we'll move that into this folder. Let me minimize behind here so we can see a little bit better. Okay, and then we're just going to go, you could go ahead and just grab that zip file and slide it over into your Windows Server folder. And y'all let me know if I'm starting to go a little too fast or anything like that. If you're watching on video, nice thing is you can pause the video. Okay. Everybody good so far? Locate in your reactions, give me a green check so I know you're good. Okay, so there should be a reactions panel if you're not familiar with that. Awesome. Okay, and if you're just observing and watching to do it later, understand that's fine. All right, so let's go ahead and click on that server. We can close the download now. Click on the server here. And we're going to extract all. go ahead and click on extract all. And we'll put it right where it's at. That's fine. Extract. Shouldn't take too long. Now, for those of you that downloaded Studio, you might have gotten some errors when you exported or extracted that the path is too long. Be sure to stop what it's doing, go back, change the name of the zip file, and then extract again, because you're losing important files when that happens. So if you have not got Studio running on your system, we're going to need Studio at some point today. So I'll walk you through that if you need help with that. All right, so once this is extracted, then we are going to rename it. If you remember, we're going to rename it and then create a couple of them. But this time we're going to do something just a little different. And what I mean by that is we're going to label them dev versus prod. Because realistically, what's going to happen is when we deploy or when we stand up our servers, we're going to have a set of servers per environment that you have. Now, we've got limited resources on our trial account, so we're going to go with a dev environment and a prod environment just for the example that we're working on here. But the dev servers will connect to the dev environment in the runtime manager, and the prod servers will connect to the prod environment in the runtime manager. That's very realistic. That's real world. Now, you likely would have dev, test, stage, prod. You know, there's different kinds of environments you might have. So we're going to replicate that as close as possible to the real world. Okay. So by now they should have completely extracted. All right. So let's take a look under our servers. And one of them is zipped. The other one is unzipped. So let's rename this first, the one that's unzipped. Okay. So the zipped one we're not going to use. But the one that is unzipped, let's rename it. Okay. And we're going to rename it. You can leave, let's go ahead. We want to leave the version. I like having the version there. So let's put dev at the beginning, dash, and then we'll do a server node. Let me fix this up here. 1 second. We want to leave the version there. That's helpful. And then we're going to do server node 1. Sound familiar? I'll put this in the chat so you've got kind of like, you want to, like I said, in the naming convention, your organization is probably going to have a naming convention that it goes by. But this kind of gives us an idea of, you know, a standard, so to speak. Okay, so that one's done essentially. And now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and right click on that folder and make a copy and then paste. Okay, so it's just taking that folder structure, copying it over, pasting it, and then we're going to rename this one to node 2. Okay. And then for, let's copy dev 1 again, copy, paste. And this time it's going to be prod server node 1, server node 2. Now we're not going to really run all of them. Okay, but I want you to see the example that it would be a totally separate server in a different environment, and it would be connected to the prod environment. So we will connect node 1. Ideally, we would probably have like 3. So let's create a second one, at least. And this will be prod node 2. Okay, because what we'll ultimately be doing when we talk about state is we're going to go ahead and cluster some of these tomorrow. Okay. All right, so we've got 2 dev servers, 2 production servers. Let's open up the dev 1 node. Okay. And you can see the file structure of that server. If you remember, we were in and out of some of these folders. For example, the logs folder is where we will see some logs when they're generated. There's also some configuration files here. I want to point out to you the domains folder. We're going to be in that today also. All right. So to run this, who remembers what we do to run this? How do we run this?
Oh, there is the script with the business ID or the business group bin folder. Yeah.
Yeah, not yet though. We can run it locally. Sandra's on it. Sandra's on it. Yeah. We go to bin, but you're right. We will be doing that. That's going to be next. We go into the bin folder, right? Now the way we need to open a command prompt window from here. So the fast way to do that is once you're in the bin folder, select the pathway at the top and then just type in the letters CMD for like command CMD. I put it in the chat. So CMD. And so once you've highlighted this path and type in CMD and hit enter, it opens a command prompt right from this location. Okay, Damien, it's recorded. Shortcut for the Mac. It would be a terminal window, Sandra, however you open a terminal window. You might actually have to open a terminal window and then navigate to that location. I should know that, but I need to. I've got a Mac now. I need to get hands-on. So you're inspiring me, Sandra. I need to do that.
There's a shortcut. I just can't remember what it is.
Yeah, try Googling it.
Sorry,
Or
what you asked for Mac?
yeah, shortcut to open a terminal window. Do you know?
From the folder. Because we don't have the path. We don't have the URL at the path at the top.
Yeah, I have that icon in my bar below. So launch bar below. So
Oh, do you launch terminal down below?
yeah, you could from the applications I drag the terminal into the launch bar. That's what I use, but I can find the
I've got the terminal, I think. Yeah. But I just opened the terminal, but I think there's a way to go straight in there.
To do it from that location like
maybe,
we did?
Maybe not, because I'm used to work on VMs as well, and I don't work on the Mac, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so there's an ask out there if anybody's watching this video later to post in there how we can open a Mac terminal window from that location in the file structure. There'll be a bonus. All right. All right. So from this line right here, we're going to type in the word mule. Type in the word mule. Now what this is going to, Java is not installed on mine. Well, there's my answer. I was wondering if I needed to install Java. Press any key to continue, and I do need to install Java. Okay, so that answers my question of installing Java here. So to speed things up a little bit, I'm going to switch over to this installation on my desktop. I do have servers on here so that we're not held up here. FYI, if you remember, I'm going to drop these URLs into the chat. 1 second. So anyone that's kind of hung on that, what we'll have to do is, I'm watching our time. I know I want to be sure that we go over everything promised for the Mule domain, and I'm going to have to do it on my desktop.
Okay. Sandra, you could do that in Mac. Yeah, you just open the find instead of going to the address bar on the top, the same address bar is in the bottom in the Finder window. Just right click there and it will say open in terminal.
Did that get it?
Let me, you continue, I'll put a screenshot.
I think I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll try installing this really quick. Hang on a second. So I really like to do it in here. So those of you that may need Java,
Got it. Thank you very much.
very good.
Yeah,
If-
there's open terminal at folder, right?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Great. So that opened it right where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Send the screenshot of that, would you? In the chat.
Yeah.
So that I can navigate other people onto that. Okay, so I need to install Java real quick here. Anybody that might need to also install Java. Essentially, let's see. You want the JDK. So I'm going to use the zip. Okay. And that should be downloading. There it is. It's downloading for us. And once it is completely done, I'll get that installed. Hopefully it won't take too long to get all of that in order. And my apologies. I thought that that was not going to be a problem. But as we know, you never know. So we're going to click on the JDK and extract all. Okay. And once it's extracted, then we should be able to run it. And these are all part of our installation files. Okay, give that a second or so.
I didn't follow any preference in the versions. I've got two for the Mac.
Well,
One
one of them may be, like in my case, one of them was like the zip file, the other was the MSI.
Okay.
Let me see what yours would look like.
I'll try my luck. I did the top one.
Okay, yeah. All else fails. That should work.
Okay.
And now that it is downloaded, going to my download folder. Download folder. And here is, let me minimize that so we can see this a little bit better. Here we go. Okay, so should be and go up. All right, it should be other than the path. I don't know if our path is going to be challenged. So let's see. I'm going to test this out and see what I have for Java. Yeah, it's not recognized. I go into, yeah, I'm going to jump to my regular system. Okay. Because that's I'll have to go to the pathway. So if you are stuck on that, my apologies, I will help you privately. So if there is a challenge there, let me get the server downloaded to my desktop and I'll work outside of the VM for right now to speed things up. Otherwise, I'm going to be troubleshooting that and I don't want to take up time to troubleshoot all of that fun stuff. All right. Re-downloading it. And you know, like I told you that these servers will expire in 30 days. But remember my little trick I shared with you? Do y'all remember that? What's the little trick?
The license key?
Yes, the license key. So there, I'll show you that there is a license key. And that license key file can be copied over into your server that was already running, and that allows it to renew that 30 days on the Mule runtime. That's only on the Mule runtime though. So it won't work on Studio, but Studio itself doesn't expire. So that's good. But where it will not, the other place that it won't work is on your trial accounts. Trial accounts clearly will expire. All right. So this is going to, yeah, let me put that out here. I'm going to create a server on my D drive. Yeah, that's a good place to put it. Oh. Hold on. We'll call it new servers. Okay. So this is where this is going. Now to catch me up. And so if you're lacking Java, I'll help you with that. No worries. We will get that part in. And once this has installed, then I'll go ahead and get the rest of us caught up on things. Let me log out of this for right now. Okay, it is still running and taking quite a little bit of time here. Come on. Because I'm watching it, it's going to take longer. I don't like the way that that is taking so long. I'm going to cancel that, see if I can do another one and put it locally. I don't trust that one, although it looks like it had finished. Let's go to the C. And I'll put him here. Well, who knew it'd be my turn to have challenges today? You know, that's kind of the way it is, though, isn't it? And this is still being a little challenge there. Come on. If it did finish. And we'll bring him up over on this side. Okay, it is there. I'm going with it. All right, so let me catch up here. Let me extract. Go with it. And I'll do the 2 dev and the 2 production on this one. And in the meantime, go ahead and get logged in to your Anypoint account. Okay, get logged in to anypoint.mulesoft.com. All right, here we go. So my servers are better. Grab the naming convention we were going to do. Rename it. To dev server. I do like having the runtime version that's there. Okay, we'll close it. Boy, it's being so stubborn. You gonna accept it now? No? Wow. So it must be out here somewhere trying to, let's try this to release it. Come on. All right. Is not letting me change that. And this is on my regular system. What? Why is this?
Is there a zip or something that is running?
Maybe it's still hung up on something. Because it's acting like it's not letting me change anything there. Fun stuff. Well, you know, this is how it goes when we're doing things live. Yeah, I'm going to shut all of this down for a second and close all windows. Let's see if the download even behaved. This is about the time we'd say, okay, everybody, go ahead and take a break while I'm troubleshooting things out. I'm going to try the download again and see if it may have gotten hung up on that. Let's try it one more time. All else fails, start it over. Now I'm going to get real brief on everything. All right, here we go. Oh, what fun. All right, now the email comes. Download link is over here. And clicking on it. Here we have the page. Once again, download. I'm not going to touch it. Do take a mini break if you need to. Let's see. Save. It's going to downloads now. That's okay. It can go to downloads. I'll move it. Maybe that's what the challenge was. It didn't like that I was putting it directly in a folder, but look, it's kind of hung up on that. Ooh, I don't like that. Say it's still a little snagged, I'm afraid. Well, we shall wait. Come on. I don't like how it's hung on that. And if I ignore it, that's where I think I have the other issues. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time to see if it'll clear. Otherwise, I might go ahead and try to get Java installed on my system. We might pick up on this tomorrow. If it's going to be problematic. Yeah, it's still hung. So weird. All right, so I think I'm going to let's do this. I'm going to work on the VM then, because if for whatever reason that's not releasing the download, it didn't release. Oh, see, no sooner do I give up on it. Look, it's now ready. How do you like that? All right, so I'm going to open the file. It's funny. It's almost like they can hear us, right? All right, so this one should be good now, but I do need to extract it. I want to move it to that other folder first, though. I like doing that to where it's nice and organized. To my new server location here. I'm going to delete these out. Those should be going. Got a new folder now called Mule Servers. And I'm going to copy this over into the Mule Server folder. Okay. So now it's in the new folder here. And I still need to extract it. So we'll do extract all. Close this. And it is extracting on my other screen. Life is good. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring this over. There we go. Downloads, extracted. Come on. And we shall rename them. Now I think I'm back where we were. Other than renaming them, and now it should work. Okay. So rename, and it's going to be dev server. And now it's letting me do what I need to do. All right. Glitches hopefully are gone. Okay, so I'm going to make a copy of this one. And paste. So this one's going to be node 2. And then copy again. And paste. And this is going to be prod server. All right, back on track here. And then I'll navigate and run them, and we should get them to run. Give me a green check if yours did run when we were setting it up with the command, entering the command in there.
Yeah, I'm not running, so I'm not giving a green check.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good. All right, so I'm going to go to dev server node 1, go all the way into the bin folder and CMD, and it opens the command prompt. And now I should be able to run in the mule. Should be able to run it. And my system has come to a slow. Come on. Come on. You can do it. And it is very slow. Let me clear some of these out here. And I'm not sure why my systems suddenly become a bit of a challenge. Come on. You can do it. Well, technical difficulties. Oh, we're getting a command prompt. I do believe one is on its way. Come on. Ah. All right, I was gonna delete some of these things that were running because for some reason my resources are zapped. See if I can get some of these too. I'll tell you what, I'm going to jump out of the meeting. It will stay open. I'm going to do a restart and kind of flesh some things out here real quick. So just stay right here. I will be right back. Okay. Be right back. All right. I am back. Wow, I don't know what happened to my system. It usually behaves really well, but hey, look, it's up. I did want to make sure that was happening. I had so many things open and I had actually been working on a couple other things. And that may have been just really conflicting. So let's yeah, give me a green check so I know you're here. Raj, I know you're busy. But give me a green check so I know everybody can hear me. We're back. I'm gonna leave my camera off so that my bandwidth is also maximized there. Okay, great, great. Okay, so I was able to get a command prompt to come up, and when we type in Mule, our server should launch. Yay, success.
So
Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I get an error. It says command not found.
Okay, are you in the bin folder?
Yeah.
I bet you don't have Java installed.
I downloaded it and ran it. I mean, it deployed it.
It should have in our inside there's a Java executable that we need to do. And that is likewise with mine that I was running also. There is a executable to get that to work. So we could work on that. Let me grab. Nope, I don't want to mess with that. Hold on a second. It is. If you know, let you share your screen. That might be helpful. And I'll see if we can find the installation on that for a Mac. Because there should be in the structure of Java a way to execute that. If you downloaded the zip or the one that needs to run would be you have to execute it so that it will install it. Let me see if I can see this good.
Can you see my screen?
I can. I see Studio.
Okay, yeah, so sorry, it's because I clicked on things. Let me go back here. So I'm here, my terminal is here, and this is what I'm getting. And so I downloaded Java and installed it.
Okay, that error is looking like it is Mule not found, but you're in the bin folder, right?
Yeah, look.
Yeah. I wonder if it could be the permissions to run that.
Maybe. I don't want to hang everyone, delay everyone.
Okay.
Fine, I can just watch.
Well, it's kind of been a different kind of day, Sandra, so.
/mule.
Yes. That is right, because it's on a Mac.
Here we go. Thanks.
Yes.
I need a translator here.
I know.
Mac language.
I always tell people when you're on a Mac, just think that everything you need to do is like opposite of what you did before on a Windows. It's kind of like, the opposite direction.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, good. All right. So we should have our servers running, right? This should be up and running. And we want to go ahead and open up another window for our other server as well. The other one in dev. We'll work out of dev for right now. So get yourself nice and organized here where you got your windows open. We'll do dev node 2 now. Let's go into that one. Go into the bin folder. And then we're going to go ahead and click on the path, open up a terminal or a command prompt. And in here, we're going to type in mule or .mule. .mule. Java error. Okay. We'll investigate it. You know what, Sandra, I need to do is I need to get my Mac set up and do it on that one and get Java installed and all that. Okay. Go in observation mode and then we'll get through to where we're doing our domain. All right. So we've got our servers up and running, and I want you to scroll back up and you can see that it actually is the Mule runtime. The Mule runtime is running here. Okay. Our next step is to connect it to Anypoint Platform. So go ahead and position your cursor in node 1 and do Control-C. That's going to bring it up. Do you want to terminate? Yes. Hit enter. And now we're going to also go into node 2, Control C, that stops it. You're going to get a, do you want to stop? Y for yes, and that's stopped. Now we're going to go to Anypoint. Okay, we're going to go to anypoint.mulesoft.com because now we want to connect the servers in with our Anypoint Platform account. Okay. So I'm going to jump in here on one of my accounts. 1 second. And I will bring up one second, almost there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go into an org here. All right, once logged in, what I want you to do in Anypoint, I know some of you still have your trial accounts. That's fine. I want you to go into your business group that we had. And I think we might have set up an additional environment in here. So once you're logged into Anypoint, let's come down here to Access Management. Access Management. And once you're in Access Management, and if you can't, if your servers are misbehaving still, you can do this part. So we're going to go to your business groups next. Okay. And I've added some other business groups here. This is for another account. I'm going into the a particular environment here, or particular line of business. I'm going into this one. You may not have them. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Where I want you to focus on once you're in your business group here, I want you to go into environments. And we're going to change the environment name from sandbox to dev. I think we did that in our class. And then you're going to create a second environment. And in your case, you're going to choose a sandbox environment, but you're going to call it prod. So that you have two environments. You've got a dev environment and a prod environment. Okay, because this is where we're going to connect our servers to the dev environment first. And then later for homework, you can connect your production servers to the production environment. And this is how you would manage them in a real world situation where they're going to be part of different environments. Okay, so once you have the two different environments set up, one dev, one prod, that's what we're using for our example, then we're going to go to Runtime Manager, come down to Runtime Manager. So if you use that little slide out menu, go over to Runtime Manager and make sure you're in the correct business group. And then you'll see the two environments you just added, and we're going to choose dev. Okay. So now we're being very specific of what kind of servers these are. These are our dev servers for development. Okay, so over here on the left, we have servers, and we're going to add a server. Okay, click on Add Server. And this is going to be dev server node 1. Dev server node 1. Okay, and when you type the name of the server, there's a command down here at the bottom. We're going to copy that command. And then we're going to paste it into a notepad here so that we can modify it. Remember, we want to modify this code, this command, because the very first two characters in the case of a Windows environment, we will not use that ./. On the Macs, you would. Okay. So in a Windows environment, we take off those first two characters, that ./. and then copy it. But Sandra, those of you using a Mac, you all would leave that. Okay. So we're going to take this command and we're going to go to node 1 and we're going to paste that in here. Okay. And notice that when you read it, you can read that it is actually connecting our server together with Anypoint Platform, with the command. So go ahead and click on the command. This is actually the way it will interact with Anypoint Platform. And once that Mule agent has been installed and configured successfully, we should go back to Anypoint Platform. And here in Runtime Manager, now can see our server is created. Okay, it's here and it's created, but it's not ran yet. It's not in a running status. So if we go back to our command prompt and now we type in Mule, okay, and then it starts spinning that server up and it's running that server. Okay, once it's deployed, notice our domain is deployed. It's the default domain, though. We've not created our domain yet. That's going to likely be for tomorrow, but that'll give us a little time, Sandra, to catch up on a few things too. And I know, RJ, you also don't have Java on that VM you are on too. So we've got some homework to do tonight to get Java installed, and we'll switch over to those servers or over to the virtual machines. But at any rate, now we can see that since our server is running, we now have this running status. Okay, so let's add the other server, the other dev server. Okay, so this one's going to be dev server node 2. Okay, copy the command, put it in a notepad somewhere. Take off those, if you're on a Windows, take off those first 2 characters. Copy it. And let's go to our server node 2 now. Server node 2. Position your cursor inside that and paste in. This is going to install the Mule agent here. Again, if we were to look at the Anypoint Platform, it would be connected, not running. Let's go ahead and type in Mule and we'll let that run. All right. So now our servers are running. We can see in Runtime Manager, they're both in a running mode. And I'm going to move us forward and setting up our domain. Okay, so now you need to have Studio. We're going to go ahead and bring Studio up. So let's launch Studio. Here we go. Bring that up. All right, there it is. And let me go to like I mentioned to you, when you're using Studio, I do recommend that you change out your workspace periodically in case it should become corrupt. So let's just change this over and I'm going to put MCIA because it's going to be everything relevant to the this certification. So make a unique workspace and launch it. All right. So the next thing now that we have gotten our servers up and running, we can also add the production servers later as homework if you'd like, because we can, we'll experiment around with having a cluster if you wanted to, but we're going to focus on deploying an application to node 2. Okay, and then we're going to deploy and we're going to create the Mule domain in node 1. just so that you can see, of course, how we can deploy our applications, how we can see those applications, and what's going on as far as in our server. So Studio should be up. Okay, so let's grab Studio. And we're going to create a simple application in here really quick. And then we will jump into our Mule domain. Being mindful of our time, we've got 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Mule domain is going to bump to tomorrow as far as getting that completely set up. So let's go ahead and create an app and deploy it to our server, kind of a review what we did before, but then we'll finish out the Mule domain process tomorrow at our session, and that'll give us a chance to catch some of these other things up. So let's create a Mule project. We're going to go ahead and get one deployed to our server. Okay. And we're going to call this one MCIA study hello project. Okay, MCIA study hello project. Okay, just something simple, and go ahead and click on finish. Here we go. All right. And give me a green check once you've gotten the project open. You're ready to work on a quick little flow here. Kind of very similar to what we had in class. We're going to modify it just a little bit. Okay. And even if your servers are not working, you can do this part to create a simple flow. Okay. Yep, just checking to make sure Studio is up if you're doing that. All right. So let's go ahead and bring a listener, an HTTP listener over. Okay, and to make this short and sweet and fast, we're going to go ahead and just use the connector configuration down below. Click on the green plus to add. We will go with the default settings here for the HTTP listener. And we can click on the test connection to make sure the port is open. And nothing is running on that. All right. And we'll click on OK. For the path, we're going to do / and we'll do hello. And save this. Upper right, / hello. And we're going to go through here. We're going to go ahead and set the payload, bring a set payload over. Okay, we'll go to a literal value instead of the value there. And say, we'll type in happy processing. Happy processing. Because it's already been a little misbehaving. Oh, we do want to identify, we'll go ahead and say happy processing from node 2. Happy processing from node 2. Okay, because we're going to deploy this to node 2. Okay, understand. All right, happy processing from node 2, and we're going to save this. Let's put a logger at the end. In the logger, we're going to go ahead and have a message in here also. And this one's going to be hello from node 2 application. Okay, hello from node 2 application. Okay, so just a simple flow here. Let's right click and we're gonna run it. Okay, we're gonna run it here in Studio. Now that means there's 3 versions of the runtime running on your system right now. This one that's running in Studio and the other 2 servers that are running. The other 2 servers that are running. Now there's no applications running on those other 2 servers. Okay, so you should get a deployment here. Deployed. And I'll go ahead and get advanced REST client, and we're going to send in the request for hello. Okay, and we should get back our little message, our payload message, and then in the why is that not coming up? My computer is really misbehaving. Why is it doing this? There we go. Wow. Why do they misbehave? We'll see our message that we sent in, the one that says from node 2. Now it's not in node 2 yet, but it will be when we get it deployed to node 2. Come on. So if yours came up, go ahead and test it. See, things are still not quite behaving the way they should. All right, now that's better. So once yours is tested, or if you're in observation mode, I get it, no worries. Once yours has tested, all right, so we should have hello here. Yep, give a check. That way we know that it processed correctly. Come on. There it goes. And we should also get a message in our logger. Okay. Good. Once yours has worked, that's great. I must be out of resources or something on my system. This is really not going through. Okay, so the main thing is we want to make sure the application is working without any trouble. And then we're going to export it as a jar file to use it to deploy it into our server. So I'm going to bypass mine without testing it because this doesn't seem to want to behave. We'll see. Okay, so our next step here is to go ahead and export this project. So right click, stop the project from running, right click, come up to the project name, right click on the project name, and we're going to export it. Okay, click on export. And next we're going to go to Java or to Mule. It's an Anypoint Studio project. Go to next. And we want to include the project modules and dependency. That's what makes it a deployable archive. And we want to go ahead and you can change up here for the name of the project. That's fine for right now because we're going to deploy it to our server. Okay, so we'll click on finish here. And notice the file structure or where it's deploying to under your user name. Okay, user. So if you want to note down where it's exported to, it's going to be at the root of C, users. Okay, users, and under your profile, you should see your jar file here. Okay, see your jar file in that folder. Okay, so there it is. So now what we want to do is we're going to go back to Anypoint. Go back to Anypoint. Okay. Anypoint.mulesoft.com. Go to Runtime Manager. And now we're going to go to Applications on the left-hand side. And we're going to deploy an application, that application we just got, into our server. Okay, so go to Hybrid, and you're going to choose Node 2, and we're going to deploy our application into this server. So you can name it the same name if you want. Okay, name it the same name if you want. And you don't have to have a unique name because it's going on your server. When we deployed it to Cloud Hub, we had to have a unique name. But here we don't. Okay, because it's going on our server. Now it has to be a unique name on the server. So let's choose the file and upload the file. Navigate to where that exported to. Okay, navigate there. Grab your jar file, and that's a deployable archive because you included the modules and dependencies. And let's deploy the application. Now, again, remember, you don't see the size of your worker or any of that. The server you don't have those configurations because it's going on the server. So let's deploy to the server. It's uploading. If you go look at the server node 2, you should start to see that your application has started. Okay, see it? Let me clear the board here. Give me a green check if you can see that your application did deploy on your server. Or if you're just observing, whatever the case may be, just notice that it has deployed. And now we should be able to bring in Advanced REST Client and send in a request to this application running on our server. Okay, now you do not want Studio to be running. This does not need to be running. If it is running, that is going to conflict with the one that you have on your server.
Bind error, localhost.
Is your still running in Studio?
Yeah, I'm saying if you keep it running, you'll get that error.
Yes, that's what you'll get. You're right. You're right. Yep. Yep. I'm going to try Postman because my Advanced REST client is not behaving. So once you send in the request, you should be able to send in the request for localhost 8081/hello, and you should get your message. Okay. And once you have that done, we also should see our messages not only in Advanced REST Client, but also on this server. It should have created logs. It should have created some details on the server. And I'll show you where those are at. Okay. So Postman to the rescue, Advanced REST Client. I don't know what has happened with mine, but at any rate, send in your request. Okay. Again, it's going to be the same as if we were using Studio, but it's on our server now. Happy processing from node 2. Okay, so that's our payload. Let's now go to our server, node 2. Okay, and let's go look at the logs because we sent a message and there should be a message in our logs. Okay, so now when we go to the logs of the server, you can see there's different types of logs here. The Mule agent log, the Mule runtime log. There is our application log right here. And when you click on the application log and open that up, now you should see the message from our logger. Okay, there's the message from our logger. Now, tomorrow when we come in, we'll continue moving forward with doing our Mule domain. And sorry about the challenges today. We all have some homework to do. I'm going to switch mine over to using the virtual machine that I created. But do note that, you know, in Runtime Manager, we can see our application is running. We can click on our application here, but we're not going to see any logs on this application here. Our logs are populated on our server. Okay, our application logs are populated on our server in that folder called logs. Okay. Going back, our servers should be up and running, and we'll leave them running as long as your system is up and running. They will be running. If your system shuts down, they're going to shut down. Okay. And quick reminder while we're right here, final thing, remember you can set an alert on the left based on these servers. Okay. So you can choose to set an alert on your server that we have running, or all servers. And if the server goes down, disconnected, you can be alerted that it has been disconnected. Okay. So again, a reminder on the alerts. I'm going to keep incorporating different things as we go forward based on other objectives for the exam and tie it in. But apologies, we didn't get through the Mule domain today, but it won't take us very long to do that tomorrow, and then we'll keep moving forward. So that's going to bump state to Thursday. Okay. And I have an application I'm working on that's using the object store, it's using the VM queues, and we'll be able to really work with that and see how it behaves on a server, how it behaves in Cloud Hub, and compare the differences. Okay. So that's a wrap for today, and more to come. I've got to troubleshoot some issues here and get things in working order, but at least we were able to make some progress. So if you have any questions surrounding the material we covered today, just let me know. I will post this video in where you can access it and add comments to any questions that you might have. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.